And then he went on to say the burning of churches, the sacking of the communities, they were done by the Christians in order to make him look bad because they were going to get money from international donors. El Rufai said that on your national television. He is the governor. And he said the killings that you are seeing in southern Kaduna, they were not carried out by the Fulani terrorists. They were carried out by the Christians themselves so that to make him look bad and also to get donation. All the churches burned by these, Islamists in Kaduna. He came out. He is their governor. Then he went on to say, for a second term, the southern Kaduna, mainly Christians, they are inconsequential in the scheme of the things. And they wouldn't need them because they were saying that they will not vote for him again. They will not vote for him again. What did he do? He decided to float a Muslim ticket to appeal to their Islamic fundamentalist or extremist in that Kaduna. Then they went on to rig the election for him for the second time. Then he said, I told you, these Christians are inconsequential. It was the same guy who sold the idea of a Muslim ticket to Tinubu. Ordinarily, Tinubu, that is a politician, would never go, as useless as he is, right? He would never go with a Muslim. It was this evil guy that sold the idea that that's the only way they can convince the northern clerics to support Tinubu. The Christians in northern Nigeria are inconsequential. They are nothing. If Tinubu needed a vote, he needed to pick up a Muslim. And yeah, the rest is history today. So he's a terrorist who can speak English. And the moment he left power, when last did he hear about the killings in southern Kaduna? When last? That should tell you everything you need to know about that evil being. But Nigeria is populated by evil beings who can speak English. And then Nigerians themselves who are suffering from the Stockholm syndrome. They will tell you that doesn't matter. We need to save ourselves. So if the devil is there to save them, they believe that it's an opportunity they can latch on, right? About the devil want to save us, let's just take it. And as for Kolu, this is how it feels.
You see why I never joined their club, and I will never need their endorsement, and I will beat them in every election.
Nuisance Lele.
That's how the empty head call you. I will beat them in any election. No, you can't. You won't. You won't. But you will rig them out of any election, of course. I mean, it's you. If you could kind of get the answer of Bokwari and his kitchen cabinet and his guys, if you could twist their hand the way you twisted it before they realized it was too late. Now he's unstoppable. There is no one to stop him, he thinks. Yeah, they will write the result. And I actually want him to write the results, the election. So I want to see how these guys are going to react. Here you get. Tinubu will declare himself winner. You get? And the only way that will last or be sustained is if these guys fail to kind of bond the way they are kind of like planning it. But if they manage to bond, there's a chance that the entire place will implode. I want to see that. It's not me, it's not in my hands, but yes, I want to see that play out. Tinubu will lose in any election. He will lose, just like he did the last time. But how he managed to compromise the entire system to the point of Momodu Yakubu and gang turning off your IREF and then spending a whole week collating a result that less than 30% of it was eventually uploaded is what it's a mystery somehow. Or maybe it is not. It's just to kind of further expose how corrupt their system is, or the judiciary. So what exactly is going to be, what is really going to stop Tinubu if you all want to go for elections, right? I've had people, I have said it too, right? They should have electoral reform so that at least, well, not be human being go conduct your charade election. Are those who are going to conduct your elections not the same Nigerians? Or you're going to import them from somewhere else? No, you're not. And according to Dele Farotimi, to him, or hang on, which one should I go for first? Yeah, let's go to Dele. We actually said that the system is so corrupt, rigged, and it will continue to produce the likes of Bokwari, Tinubu, and something worse than Tinubu will be produced next. Scary.
The reality is that I have never been partisan in my engagement with the Nigerian state, and your ethnicity or religiosity matters nothing to me. So, fact of the matter is that I have spoken to these things for years, and it's only grown worse. So I spoke to it during the Obasanjo years. I spoke to it during the Jonathan years. I spoke to the same things during the Buhari years. And I warned against what I then called the 2 horsemen of the apocalypse. So the truth of the matter is that there is nothing I want to say today that I had not said before. So unless I'm going to personalize the issues and render the truth subjective, there is nothing I'm going to say about Tinubu today that I did not say about Obasanjo yesterday, because the truth is the problems are systemic. They are not about persons. You might find the person of Tinubu less palatable than you found Obasanjo or Jonathan or maybe even Bubu. But it does not change the fact that these are systemic problems. And if you would address the systemic issues or deal with the system that has allowed this speedy descent into hell, if you would deal with that system, then surely it becomes possible to deal with the problems. So when I was speaking to how tired I have become about constantly speaking to the issues, it is because when you speak to the issues without speaking to the system, all you're doing is that you are bemoaning the fruits without dealing with the tree that is producing the fruits that you bemoan. If you do not deal with the system that has produced Bola Ahmed Adekunle Tinubu, it will produce something worse, regardless of who that person might be. It's about the system. We need to fix the system. And that is what I meant when I said we need to act. We've talked enough. It's time to act. But good morning, everybody. It's 10 o'clock now. And I do believe that we should now stick with the script. I just, I did my thing, I tested the mic. We've had about 5 minutes. If we have time later on, if you're just catching us, you might want to dial back later on and watch. Who owns it if we don't. Because truth of the matter is, who obeys is called. But all right, let me not belabor that, but let that percolate in your thoughts. What right does Nigeria have to demand obedience? What right? I mean, if a father does not provide, he can hardly demand that the children for whom he does not provide or protect, the children he doesn't protect, for whom he does not provide, can hardly demand their obedience. Oh, wow. What right does Nigeria have to demand obedience?
Us, no right. Those who hold Nigeria patriotism are those opportunists that the system continues to produce. And unfortunately, they have remained unpatriotic, right? Unfaithful, so disloyal to a country that has given them everything. So if there is anybody to be punished, there are a group of people to be punished for wasting the patriotism that is expected of them after all they got from Nigeria. It should be your criminal politicians. 100%. You do not hold Nigeria patriotism. You don't. Yeah, I mean, there are those of you who think that you have to be patriotic to Nigeria. I'm not saying that you should by any means join the bandwagon of those destroying the country, by the way, because destroying the people is the same as destroying the country. And that's exactly what we have in that contraption. People have become so damaged. Yes, the product of Nigeria, Nigerians who have been saddled with, endless brutality, bullying, the system that has sort of like damaged our people has ended up damaging the country. So a lot of us don't have any patriotism for Nigeria. Some of us still have patriotism to our own ethnic nationalities. I am patriotic to Yoruba cause. Maybe you are patriotic to the Biafran cause. Or maybe others are also patriotic to your own ethnic nationality's cause. Because there are so many of us that will take a huge offense. Anyway, when somebody says or people say something about my own tribe or my own ethnic nationality, right? Then take offense if you say something about Nigeria. So these rogues who have been given everything, right? But what did they give back to Nigeria? Bad governance, corruption, a completely messed up system where electing your own leaders has become almost impossible. So they owe Nigeria and they owe you a lot, not you, not the other way around. Unfortunately, they don't even believe in Nigeria themselves. These are a bunch of criminals that will loot Nigeria, put the money elsewhere, not in Nigeria. Then they turn around and expect you to be patriotic about that place. So it is the system they have created that has sustained them and sustained their criminality as well. So if there's a call for the dismantling of the system, which I support, it is because of this reason. Because if you have a system that continues to pop out rogues, drug dealers, human traffickers, treasury looters, like these criminals that are parading themselves as leaders of Nigeria today. So Why should anybody be against the destruction of such a system? Because without the system being destroyed, yeah, there is no chance for this generation or future generation when it comes to Nigeria. Do you understand? Okay. You will if you don't so far. Or should I say, people like myself sort of disgusts, or put it bluntly, hatred for that system. It's not completely hatred for Nigeria. And that is why we believe that the system that they have put in place in that contraption is being sustained because there are those who are benefiting from it. And the reason why they are benefiting from it is because Nigeria is still pretending to be one country where the citizens have no rights. You are even worse than subjects. Back in the days, they would say, okay, you are subjects of so person. People who were subjects or even slaves, they were still treated well because slaves were like commodity or kind of like an asset to the slave owners. But the way these rogues are treating Nigerians, you are like worthless to them. You are just mere numbers to them. So a system that guaranteed that is not a system that anybody should defend or try to sustain. It is a system that must be destroyed, and the beneficiary of that system must be destroyed with that system. It's unfortunate that we don't possibly have, we don't possibly have the educated minds to make that happen. That's why we continue to expose the internal wrangling, which is also going to be the self-destruct kind of like a mechanism. They will destroy themselves and then destroy the system. So all we have to do is to make sure that when they are busy doing that, we must not stop them. We mustn't discourage them. We, in fact, must kind of like escalate it until the entire system is burnt down and they themselves are burned with it. Do you understand that? No? Don't worry. So they were talking about a coalition. Let's go to that. Again, back to their coalition. In their coalition arrangements, here is what Shegun Showumi had to say on the side.
Total available PVC collected is about 86 million or thereabout. Someone cannot earn 8.6 million votes, and you all will be saying that unless you merge, you don't have the ability to stimulate and go into the process of the field and get Nigerians, first of all, to even be willing to take a stand on election. That's a very lazy approach. The second is that if you look at our last numbers, you would even say that if they want to build any opposition, going by the last numbers, they have to build it around Peter, because at least he was able to come with the votes of the Southeast, that of the South-South, that of the Federal Capital Territory, and a little bit of that of Lagos. You would say that, okay, if a small child is trying to lift a heavy object, why don't the elders just help him to carry it up if they are sincere? Now, if you say that your thinkings is that you think that there's an imaginary large number in the north, I've asked myself often, how many of the incumbents in the north, the governors, the ones that are going to be needing a second term, and the ones that want to do succession, has agreed that they are going to betray their party? Okay, one or two men are upset. If they are upset, does their anger and upset and disappointment translate into the totality of the election space? Are you going to be able to win an election after 2023 only on your tribal hunch? It's not going to work. You don't have a homogeneous North. Have you asked the North Central what their position is relative to the next election? So I'm saying clearly that it's very lazy and extremely annoying that a political party like PDP is not working very hard in the field to try to make itself electable. And to do that, they need to stop the quarrel. One, for you.
I write. And then the same guy had this to say about Wiki, the real catalyst within them.
He who is mostly vilified. And if you like, whom when you mention his name, you are accused of having been funded by him. It is his role in the party over the years that is now clearly becoming a gaping hole. I've always said that Nyesom Wike is the Achilles, the key man risk. If you are a finance person or a consultant or somebody that is in management, you'll understand